And I think we're live. All right, we are live. Welcome back, everyone, to CapitalCosm Live. My name is Danny. It is the start of the week of the 19th, but technically it's January 18th, 2026. But luckily for us, silver stackers and participants in the market, our week actually starts tonight. And as you can see here, it starts off with a bang. I mean, wow, $94 silver. I was looking at $93 as I was getting the stream ready. So this is actually a pleasant surprise. Give me a one in the chat if you can hear the sound of my voice nice and clear. And of course, it goes without saying, nothing in this video is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, so always do your own due diligence. Yeah, we've got silver up. Wow, 6%. Well, it was literally just $94 futures price. And we just we just sold off what, 23 cents in like the last 2 seconds. It's a wild market. Volatility, everything is becoming unwound. Get ready, strap in, buckle up. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. Gold is also up today or tonight, 79.80, almost 2% up on the night. 46.75. Copper is a little under $6 at the moment. Platinum, 23.65. Let me do this. Probably a little better, right? Yeah. Still working out the microphone. Hopefully it sounds good. It sounds good. Sound isn't clear. Someone says the sound isn't clear. Are you guys also getting that? What about now? Okay. Well, yeah, a lot of you guys say it's fine. So we'll just go with that. All right. Well, we've got a ton of news to talk about. We've got where do we start? So we've got number one, the drama that's unwound over the U.S. Mint pricing Silver Eagles $180 or just about. We've got the U.S. EU trade war that's breaking out as well, coming off the heels of this Greenland debate, whether the United States is going to take Greenland or not. The EU has now said that they're pausing and backing off from any and all trade talks with the United States. We've also got an interesting report just yesterday. An analyst that used to work for the Bank of England wrote an op-ed to the Bank of England advising them to make preparations for an imminent or an incoming announcement of an alien discovery, i.e., to prepare for any market turbulence that might arise from an announcement that there is life outside of the planet. So we've got a lot of stuff to cover. And I think I saw some more news break as I was going live. We'll cover anything that comes down the pike as well. There we go, 94.08. Let's go ahead and take a look at the minute by minute chart just to kind of kick things off here. Well, let's take a look at the daily candlesticks. And you can see right here for silver, we are knocking at the doorsteps of all-time highs. Now, granted, we've been pretty much penetrating all-time highs now on the regular. So this isn't anything new anymore. But yeah, we're 93.37 now, spot price. We were looking at the futures price here on CNBC. So spot price a little bit below futures. But that's changing by the second, as you could see. So this is when, I believe this is when we opened the night, 6 p.m. Eastern time in the overnight market. You'll notice that we closed Friday at $90 and we opened tonight at $91.75, a $1.75 gap. Truly astonishing. And now we're trading at 93.64 on the minute by minute chart. Wow. Incredible. So one could say could make the case that this is a double top. You could also say that it's an ascending wedge, which is also not bullish, but we're right on that wedge right here. We may break down because we did move up a little higher, but this is again on the short term candlestick. So this doesn't really impact the longer term thesis of this thing. This is only when we're monitoring this stuff on a minute by minute basis. So unless you're a trader, this really shouldn't impact you that much. It's just from a play by play perspective. You know, I'm kind of like a play by play commentator here in the silver arena. Silver mania is running wild, brothers. Silver mania is running wild. Look at that. Wow. You're seeing this in real time. This green candlestick is just boom. 93.73 now. What are we on the futures price? We're at 94.15 futures price. Yep, there it is here on CNBC. Wow. I kind of don't want to take my eyes off it. But we'll go back to the spot price. That's been killing it. But I want to get into this news. This broke earlier in the weekend. And so if you go to the US Mint website, you'll notice something interesting. You'll notice that these 1 ounce 2024 American Eagle coins are going for $169. These are going for $173, $169. And this is almost, close to 100% over spot. So this has been raising some eyebrows to no surprise. And there's all sorts of theories going around. One idea that I've seen floating around, I think Eric, my good friend Eric Jung may have brought this up on X, is that this is really the US Mint's way to kind of throttle retail demand of silver American Eagles. They could do that as a means to bring down demand that way. But then what I decided to do, so I asked Grok, as any sane human being would, and I said, why are we seeing a huge 100% premium on silver American Eagles at the US Mint here at this link? And here's what Grok has to say. The huge 100% premium you're seeing on silver American Eagles directly from the US Mint stems from a dramatic surge in the spot price of silver, combined with how the Mint prices its numismatic version. So numismatics is another word for collector coins, and silver American Eagles are collector coins. So there's usually always a pretty strong premium when it comes to the collector coins, and this implies that the price rise in silver has just been so dramatic that this is the US Mint's way of just trying to catch up with that volatility. So let's go ahead and continue with see what Grok has to say. So as of mid-January 2026, the spot price of silver is hovering around $90.91. Oh, I keep forgetting to do this. Please hit that like and subscribe. I should have done this at the start of the show. I'm just too excited to jump into the news here, guys. But if you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification as well. Every little bit helps in pushing this stream in this video in the algorithm. So if you haven't done that already, please consider doing so. It's a huge weight off my back to produce these streams almost daily now. So as of mid-January, the spot price is hovering around $90 to $91. This represents an extraordinary rally, which silver has been roughly tripled from levels around $30 earlier in 2025, driven by factors like strong, blah, blah, blah. So the price of silver has tripled. The US Mint sells bullion silver eagles only through authorized dealers, not directly to the public. Dealers typically add modest premiums, around $8 to $10 over spot. So the idea is you could probably find a silver American Eagle, if you can find one. I mean, they're pretty much sold out in a lot of places for around $98 to $100 per coin. That's actually on the cheap side. I don't think you can get one for under $100 now. So Grok may not be accurate in this sense. What you're seeing on the US Mint website are the numismatic editions, like uncirculated, burnished, satin finish, or proof versions. These are sold directly to the public and carry much higher fixed retail prices set by the mint to cover production costs, packaging, and profit margins. So essentially these coins here, these are collector coins that are sold directly to the public from the US Mint. They don't typically send these out to dealers to sell, as far as Grok is telling us. So let's continue. I see we've got a super chat. We'll answer the super chat after we're done reading this. Historically, okay, so it says here, these are sold directly to the public and carry much higher fixed retail prices set by the mint to cover production costs, packaging, and profit margins. Historically, these collector versions were priced with premiums of $20 to $80 over spot when silver was $25 to $40 an ounce. But the mint pricing hasn't adjusted quickly enough to the rapid rise in spot. Recent reports indicate the mint has temporarily pulled many silver numismatic products from sale to review and update pricing amid the metal's cost surge. So it looks like they were just caught flat-footed due to the volatility of the silver price in the last couple of months. And they just flipped the switch and added an $80 to $90 premium to these collector coins. And again, these are coins that typically are only sold from the US Mint website directly to the public and are not facilitated by they don't sell them to the dealer to then sell them to the public. So they're a different set of coins that you would get from the bullion dealership. Older or prior year collector eagles are now listed at $169, roughly double the current $90 spot, creating that apparent 100% premium. This reflects the mint's fixed pricing. So yeah, that's what Grok's rationale to the Mint Eagle story is. Let's see. We've got a super chat from Blue Water Stacks. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. I appreciate it. Those are West Point numismatic regular Eagles. They're typically $110 plus. So I think you're talking about these. Yeah. So if someone can post a link to these in the chat, I'll click on the link and we can compare if it's the same. Is it the same exact model? Not model, version? Is it Blue Water? Is it 2025 with the same picture here? So yeah, you guys are saying Grok is lying. Yeah. Well, if Grok is lying, if that's not the correct version, if these are the same versions that you're seeing at all these other dealerships, then that implies that that could be the reason. They could just be trying to stifle demand. The price is getting too far out of reach and they could be trying to stifle demand. So very interesting developments here. In somewhat related news, this is from AppMex. So AppMex, one of the biggest bullion dealerships out there, this just broke less than a couple hours ago. So it says here, AppMex CEO sends emergency letter just now. Mandatory $500 million, they may get to $500 million premiums, minimums, and maybe premiums as well at this rate. $500 minimum to buy silver on that site with American Eagles over 108. That's just 5 Eagles. What a wild time to be alive. So let's take a quick look at the email. All right, so this is a letter. I'm presuming this is at the AppMex website. It says, effective today, we will be instituting a $500 minimum for online orders. These orders represent approximately 50% of volume and will significantly assist in efforts to get back to service levels. Wow. So the dealers are struggling, guys. They're effectively having to silo half of their customer base to meet the demand. It's getting wild. Like, we are heading to unobtainium. Like, do you guys see the path to unobtainium here? I have no idea what's going to happen. It is wild. There's even more news coming out too about the critical minerals list and investment from the U.S. government going into the mining sector. We've got a story on that too. Like, we've got so much stuff to cover, so much stuff that I haven't even mentioned in the opening of my monologue tonight. It's exciting, but it's exciting in a weird way. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's exciting because we get to see our portfolios go up. We have, like, gold and silver mining stocks, and we're in the mining sector and all this other stuff. But it's coming at a cost to, I guess, the order of the world order. And of course, it goes without saying. I know, pretty snazzy transition here. It goes without saying, I've got to thank our good partners at the Bullion Standard Pro. If you're looking to add into your gold and silver stack, consider becoming a member at the Bullion Standard Pro. It's only $35 a month, and with that membership, you get access to their pro pricing. It's essentially the Costco and Sam's Club business model. You effectively pay $35 a month. That's it. And then you can buy as much as you want. You can buy as much gold as you want, as much silver, as much platinum, as much copper, whatever, at their pro pricing. And if you buy enough, the subscription basically pays for itself. So as of right now, for a 1 ounce silver round, pro pricing goes for $94.58. The average retail price is $102. That'll save you about a little over $8. However, if you buy 20 of these bad boys, you'll save $150 plus. If you buy 100, you'll save around $690. If you buy 500 ounces of silver rounds, you're going to save over $3,000 in your transaction compared to what you would buy from other places on average. And so the membership pretty much pays for itself. It's a no-brainer. It's a slam dunk. We've got a special link down below in the description with promo code COSM10. So with that promo code, you will get 10% off your first month. And yeah, I mean, prices are at all-time highs. The best thing you can do is try and get as much savings as you can. So we've got that link in the description box. So be sure to check it out. Let's get back into the news here. And we've got, so here's the news I alluded to. This is from my Twitter. If you haven't followed me yet on Twitter, it's at CapitalCosm. We've got 5,400 followers. Let's get that up to at least 10,000 by the summer. That'd be awesome. But let's go ahead and see what the White House had to say about the critical minerals list. And of course, silver is included in that critical minerals list. So this is a forum in the Future Minerals Forum in Saudi Arabia. So let's see what they have to say.
Let's just hope you get another round of applause.
And let me know if you can hear the sound. Is the sound coming in?
At the end, so we'll see how that goes. David, you're the sole government representative here. I think it's fair to say, also coming from the White House, in the course of 12 months, as Becky referenced, my goodness, a lot's changed. Things have radically changed, even on this platform here from 12 months ago. So I think perhaps could you first of all give us in a nutshell your White House perspective, because we're going to draw on that to see how that affects many other parts of the world and indeed the mineral sector. So over to you to kick us off.
Thank you, David, for inviting me to join the panel today. And thank you so much to our Saudi Arabian hosts for putting on this incredible event. Well, I think the straightforward answer to your panel question of whether mining companies are going to regain a leadership role in national development is unequivocally yes. And as a result, mining companies are going to get a lot of attention from guys like me in governments around the world. In the United States, for a number of decades, we've badly neglected our mining sector and generally been happy to outsource mining activities to other countries and governments around the world. According to Standard & Poor's, it takes 29 years to build an average mine in the United States, largely because of our very onerous permitting regime. But I'm proud to say that under President Trump's leadership, the United States has done a complete 180 in the last 12 months and again made mining a priority area for our national development. Because as all of you understand, minerals are the elemental building blocks of everything we need to reindustrialize our country. So what are we doing in the US?
Isn't it weird that this is just like some like cosmic breakthrough now? Like it's so weird. Like common sense is like this coveted artifact that we've been so starved of for the last decade or more. But yeah, a lot of these mining companies, a lot of these commodity producers, they've been starved of CapEx for a decade plus now. And it's about to come flooding their way. It's exciting times. Let's go ahead and finish up the talk here.
I would say broadly 4 things. We're investing in mining projects. We're stockpiling minerals. We're going to protect our mining companies, and we're rebuilding our mining ecosystem. To start, we're investing heavily in mining-specific projects, like our recent deals with MP Materials, Lithium Americas, Korea Zinc, Ma'aden here in the Kingdom, and many, many others. I believe over the next few years, the United States government will deploy hundreds of billions of dollars of capital into the mining sector between debt and equity. We are doing things the American government has never done before, like equity investing, so we can get deals to pencil.
Do you hear that? The government is investing in mining stocks, essentially. This is a plan coming together. Hand, meet, glove. This is what we've been saying for 3 years now on this channel. This is what all the mining bros, I don't even know if that's what you would call them, but all the mining stock enthusiasts, this is all what we've been talking about for years now. It's finally happening.
Quickly and move forward. We're creating public-private investment funds like our Critical Minerals Consortium with Orion Resources in New York. We have partnerships with other minerals-focused investment funds like TechMed, and there will be plenty more to come here as we seek to make sure the United States has a roadmap for every mineral we need to power our economy. Second, we've begun stockpiling minerals. President Trump convinced Congress over the summer to give us $2 billion to stockpile critical minerals in our national defense stockpile. That's the largest investment we've made in stockpiling since the Cold War ended. And we're actively working with our private sector on plans right now to stockpile minerals for our civilian economy as well. Third, we're going to protect our mining companies. We know the mining industry has a problem with commodity pricing.
Of course, there's also the other side of the coin, right? Nationalization of mines and companies too. So it's a tricky situation, but it's a signpost that we're in where the capital is going to be rotating into. So we've been in this growth mindset where growth stocks have outperformed pretty much everything else the last 40 plus years. And now you can see the signs that it's reversing. So yes, there's risks of nationalization and things like that, but you could always, that's why you've got to do your due diligence on all these mining stocks. Make sure their jurisdictions are places that you feel good with. And most people often say, it's like, oh, well, I don't want to invest in so-and-so country because they're going to nationalize. Well, the U.S. now could nationalize. So, one way of playing this is just to own the physical, gold, silver. There's various trusts. There's a uranium Sprott trust, a Sprott uranium trust, I should say. There should be various trusts out there for different commodities and so forth. So if you don't feel comfortable in investing in mining stocks, there's always that route. But let's go ahead and finish up what this guy has to say.
Caused by strategic overproduction and dumping. Returns in the mining sector on average have not been good enough for the last 2 or 3 decades, at least partially due to this problem. I don't want to get too far ahead of our policy process here, but we're having nearly daily conversations with our international partners about how to protect our collective mining ecosystems from state subsidized competition so investment returns can be healthier again and the capital markets can function normally.
Okay, and a brief word on your fourth point. Sorry to interrupt you there, Dave, but if you can move on to the rebuilding of the ecosystem.
Yep. So we're fixing our mining ecosystem in the United States. 29 years to build a mine is not acceptable to President Trump. We're going to fix this. We're making priority. Critical minerals products in the US are probably our number one priority right now. We have a federal priority list for permitting. It's basically never been used for mining projects before. We've added 52 critical minerals products to the list. And we've created multiple different structures to permit projects. And we can now do, we call our environmental impact statements, literally in less than a month when we need to for the national energy emergency declared by the president. So it's not going to take 29 years to build mines anymore. It's going to move a lot faster than that. And we're already doing it. So 4 things: investing, stockpiling, protecting our mining companies, and fixing our mining ecosystem, because this industry is so important to our national development.
Excellent. David, thanks very much indeed. You ended up on the
Yeah, so there it is. There it is. Whether you like it or not, the spotlight is here. It's on us. Tangible assets, mining companies, metals, energy not yet, but energy, I suspect the time is coming for energy. And we may still have some time to nibble across the energy sector, but a lot of these other energy equities are starting to run. Let's go to take a look at silver. Silver 93.67. So it looks like it retreated a bit from the $94 level. Remember, $94 is the all-time high level. And what did we say at the start of the program? We had a double top here. A little bit of this is kind of like this is a sorry excuse for a rising wedge, but it's a rising wedge nonetheless. And as a result, we saw some downward pressure. So yeah, looks like we're bouncing off a bit, 93.02 spot market, but we are still well above the close of Friday. So it's looking good. And my gosh, I just noticed this. Japanese 10-year yield. This thing just does not take breaks. If you thought silver mania was running wild, the Japanese yield mania is running even more so wild. It's up another 2.2% today. Not basis points, but in relative change. So there's something going on in the Japanese debt market. Japanese debt is being sold off pretty precipitously. Here's how it looks on a linear scale. Look at that. Huge spike up in the Japanese debt market. What about our debt market? Oh my gosh, up 7 basis points tonight. Yeah, look at that gap up today. We closed out the week at 4.16. We opened up today at 4.19, and then we're at 4.23 right now. Pretty big gap up in the debt markets here in the United States. I mean, we are staring right into the abyss here. This is like watching a car crash in slow motion. So we've got this tweet here from Investment Guru. This ties into the critical minerals news that we just listened in on at the mining sector conference over at Saudi Arabia. So it says here, this is from Investment Guru, critical minerals and rare earth elements are quietly becoming one of the most important long-term investment and geopolitical themes of the coming decade. As global supply chains fracture and a geopolitical risk rises, countries are shifting from cost efficiency to supply security. Critical minerals like lithium, copper, cobalt, nickel, graphite, uranium, and rare earth elements are essential inputs for EVs, batteries, semiconductors, AI data centers, defense systems. aerospace, robotics, and clean energy infrastructure without reliable access. So, yeah, the sea of society essentially is essentially a sea of energy and minerals. For decades, production and processing have been highly concentrated in a few regions, creating strategic vulnerabilities. Today, governments are responding aggressively. The US, Canada, EU, and allies are investing billions into domestic mining, refining, recycling, and alternative supply chains. Policy support, subsidies, long-term offtake agreements, and national stockpiling are becoming common tools. And this isn't a short-term cycle, it's a structural reset. And so he kind of goes through all the different minerals here. So like lithium, for example, their usage pertains to EV batteries, grid-scale energy storage, consumer electronics. Nickel is in high-density EV batteries, aerospace alloys, stainless steel. Cobalt is in battery stability, defense alloys, aerospace components. Copper is in EV wiring, power grids, renewable energy, and data centers. Graphite, battery anodes, EVs, semiconductors, and nuclear reactors. Uranium, manganese, silicon. And here's a little graphic for your viewing pleasure. So, yeah, it's coming down, and we're heading into an era where trade is becoming locked. So if you don't have it, you're probably not going to be able to get it anywhere because China's locking down its exports, not entirely, but through licensing and other means of making it harder. And other countries are doing the same thing. And this ties into Greenland. Greenland is, of course, the home of huge deposits in rare earth minerals. You also have all these billionaires like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and a number of others investing heavily into Greenland's. There's like this project called like the Libertarian Island or something like that. But it's basically they're creating a zone where they can essentially just build, let's like completely cover the country, Greenland, with AI data centers. And the cold weather and climate of Greenland is conducive for cooling the AI data centers. And so with that in mind, you're looking at, you've really got to look at the map from the perspective of, we've looked at the map from the perspective of the Atlantic Ocean being in the middle. But what you really got to do now moving forward, especially as some of this Arctic ice begins to melt in the North Pole, I'm not calling for like global man-made climate change or whatever, but that is happening. The passageways in the Arctic are opening up. I'm not saying it's man-made. It's just happening. And so what's occurring now is the map that all of these world leaders are looking at now is from the North Pole being at the center of the world map. And then you'll have North America, Russia, and Europe engulfing it. And then, of course, Greenland to the east of the United States. In North America, I should say. And so Greenland becomes pivotal. And so from the rationale of the United States, can we really risk having China or Russia have some sort of presence in Greenland? Just right off our backyard. It kind of goes to the same rationale that we saw with Venezuela. And who's to say that all these projects that Russia and China are engaged with are just as benign as they'd like it to be? Because look, I mean, if I was Russia and China, wouldn't I do the same? Like, it's just, I mean, the U.S. was threatening to put nuclear missiles into Ukraine, and Russia took care of that. Russia was not going to stand around and just let it happen. And I think you've got a similar idea. That's their rationale. I'm not like endorsing it, and I'm not denying it. I'm just trying to put the news out there, trying to put it out there as objectively as possible. So I think we have a speech here from Putin. We're not going to get into the alien stuff just yet. We got the alien stuff to talk about at the end. So Putin addressed the United States' plan for the Greenland takeover. So let's see what Putin has to say.
Может кого-то удивить о планах Соединенных Штатов Америки по присоединению Гренландии. Но вы знаете, это только на первый взгляд может кого-то удивить. И глубоко ошибочно полагать, что это какие-то экстравагантные разговоры новой американской администрации. Ничего подобного. На самом деле, такие планы у Соединенных Штатов Америки проявились еще в 60-е годы XIX века. Уже тогда американская администрация рассматривала возможность аннексии Гренландии и Исландии. Но эта идея не получила тогда поддержку Конгресса. Кстати, напомню, что к 1868 году в американских газетах высмеивали покупку Аляски. Она называлась безумием, ледяным ящиком и садом белых медведей Эндрю Джонсона, тогдашнего президента Соединенных Штатов. Поэтому предложение по Гренландии провалилось. Но сегодня...
That's the thing with Putin. It's like everything is a history lesson. Everything has to be qualified with like a 200 plus year history lesson of the current situation. This actually just all started in 1860 when they wanted to annex Greenland and Iceland. But Putin is an intellectual, and I think that is that intellectualism is lost, with our politicians. I think we're halfway through. We'll finish up the talk here.
Это приобретение, я имею в виду приобретение Аляски, наверняка оценивается в самих Соединенных Штатах совсем иначе. Так же, как и деятельность президента Эндрю Джонсона. Поэтому ничего удивительного в том, что происходит сегодня, нету. Тем более, что эта история началась только тогда, а она продолжалась и дальше. В 1910 году, например, была подготовлена трехсторонняя сделка по обмену территориями между США, Германией и Данией. В результате Гренландия отошла бы Соединенным Штатам, но сделка сорвалась тогда. Во время мировой войны США разместили в Гренландии военные базы для защиты от захвата ее нацистами. А после окончания войны Штаты предложили Дании выкупить эти острова. Совсем недавно, по меркам мировой истории. Словом, речь идет о серьезных планах с американской стороны в отношении Гренландии. Эти планы имеют давние, как я только что показал, исторические корни. И очевидно, что США будут и дальше на системной основе продвигать свои геостратегические, военно-политические и экономические интересы в Арктике.
Yeah, so this isn't brand new. This isn't the first time it's happened. Like, I know for a lot of us, it just came out of nowhere. But like Putin said, he's a student of history. This has been ongoing since the 1800s, 1860 to be exact. And, there's been back and forth with Greenland as being the geostrategic location that it is. But I think right now it's just reached such a boiling point because it's not just geostrategic from like an access sense. Like back then, like 100 years ago, Greenland was strategic in the sense that you could potentially gain a foothold into North America through Greenland. Now there's a resource element involved as well. There's the rare earth minerals. There's the resource scarcity that we're heading into. And so that adds an extra layer. And so that makes it, that extra layer makes it alluring enough to the point where, we may now start considering just taking Greenland by whichever means we find necessary here in the United States. So Putin is putting that stuff into context. I see we have a super chat here. Namaste 5257. Thank you for the super chat. He cares more to control the trade route opening. Money. He cares more to control the trade route opening. Yeah, the trade routes are definitely opening as the Arctic ice sheet begins to melt. And that changes the calculus too. So things have changed in the last 150 to 200 years. Greenland has always been geostrategic, but many different factors have gone into creating a more tempting proposition now. Again, the trade routes are opening. There's resource stuff. And of course, it's still geostrategic to North America. And if we are heading into a more multipolar world, and this is something that J.D. Vance and I believe also Marco Rubio alluded to, they themselves have also said we're heading into a multipolar world. And so locking down your respective sphere of influence becomes of the utmost importance. So let's take a quick glance over at silver. And of course, guys, as soon as I go live, I just kill the silver rally. It happens each and every time. Gold, 46.68. What's oil doing? 59.42. So oil is flat. Bonds are breaking higher. Well, bond yields are, not bonds themselves. Oh, crypto, Bitcoin down almost $3,000. Down 3%. Look at the sea of red. Ethereum down 3.5%. Solana, Doge. It's not looking good. Let me just do let's do a quick check on Bitcoin. Yeah, this is a bearish flag here. No, it's not looking good. Something like this. If this was down here below it, you could say it's a pole and it would be a bull flag, but it's actually above it. And you can see us breaking down here, down to support on Bitcoin. Still, we're not that far removed from the highs. Like, the highs are only up here in the grand scheme of things. %20 decline or so. So, and then also on the Greenland front, you've also got this developing trade war that's ongoing now with, not trade war, but Europe has said that they will be ceasing trade talks with the United States because of the Greenland rhetoric. And so they pulled out. So what they did earlier today, they actually pulled out the few European troops that they sent in earlier in the week last week as a result of that. They sent them in to placate the United States and reassure them the security of Greenland was in good hands. And I think they sent in just a small handful of troops. Like, it wasn't anything of gargantuan size. And they just pulled them back today, or at least the French did. I believe the British troops are still there. And now the EU has put all trade talks with the United States on halt. And of course, you have the new talks between Canada and China, which actually, interestingly enough, Trump encouraged. Trump actually encouraged Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, to pursue trade talks with China. So very interesting developments are afoot here. We're living in an age of transition, not in that trend, in the rainbow flag sense, but from the macro sense. So let's see what Eric Jung has to say. So this is coming out of China. Speaking of which, the cat is out of the bag. Bag. The cat is out of the bag. China is dumping treasuries to buy other assets, according to the South China Morning Post. Chinese experts describe U.S. treasuries as a Ponzi scheme where the U.S. government prints larger volume of debt to replace the old. Other assets? What do they mean by other assets? Do they mean gold and silver and commodities? Is that what they're replacing U.S. treasuries with? If you really think about it, it kind of begs the question, if China's laying off on the treasuries, Japan's laying off on the treasuries, who's buying the treasuries? Who's been buying the treasuries this entire time? It kind of makes you think, has the Fed been buying the treasuries this entire time? Is someone like, who's been buying the treasuries? Because it looks like we've been locked at, where is it? 4.2% on the 10-year yield. We've kind of been range bound since 2022. So it looks like this thing wants to break. They're keeping the lid on somehow, despite all these buyers coming out of the market. Of course, you've also got the stable coins, right? That's been propping up the debt market, no doubt, in the United States. But that can only do so much, especially with Bitcoin coming off its all-time high. And typically, I don't put too much stock into these 4-year cycles things with Bitcoin, but typically in the year after Bitcoin reaches an all-time high, it typically has a pretty steep correction. I'm talking like 70 to 80% historically. So this year would be that year. So that would put downward pressure on the stablecoin trade, obviously. So they're becoming unwound. Fascinating to see. So I think I'm going to just leave it off there. I think we covered, oh, wait, come on, aliens. I didn't cover the aliens. So yeah, here's the story about the European Union suspending their trade deal with the U.S. Following the threats on Greenland as well as the tariff threats. So they're talking about the 10% tariff threats from the U.S. And we also have this. This actually broke last night, and I couldn't believe what I was reading. So this is from the London Times. And if you haven't read this yet, I mean, this is wild. So it says here, banks must plan for crisis sparked by alien invasion. So who wrote this? This was a former analyst at the central bank is calling for strategy to prevent a financial collapse. So they're referring to the Bank of England. So the Bank of England must plan for a financial crisis being triggered by an announcement confirming the existence of alien life, one of its former policy experts has claimed. Helen McCaw served as a senior analyst in financial security at the UK Central Bank, preparing for events that could impact the economy. So, this person who authored this call, she actually used to work at the Bank of England as a senior analyst in financial security. And this is very odd. Like, this is just completely out of the blue, something completely out of left field. And plus, like, how would she know? It kind of begs the question, like, what does this person know? She has written to Andrew Bailey, the bank's governor, urging him to organize contingencies for the possibility that the White House may one day confirm we are not alone. McCaw, a Cambridge graduate, believes a declaration of that magnitude would send shockwaves through the markets and could trigger bank collapses and civil unrest. So this person, Helen McCaw, suspects that the announcement may come from the White House. And as I'm sure a lot of you may know, there's always Project Bluebeam that we've been kind of on the watch out for. And for those of you who don't know, Project Bluebeam was a declassified project about faking an alien invasion. Now, you could make the argument that they most likely have the technology to make it look very convincing. But it's very interesting that it sounds like someone put her up to this. It sounds like someone pushed her to write this on someone else's behalf. And then gave her a spot in the London Times and published it. Until recently, suggestions that governments were covering up the existence of alien life were limited to a small coterie of conspiracy theorists and UFO activists. However, senior American officials, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the New York Senator Kristen Gillibrand, and James Clapper, a former director of national intelligence, have recently indicated their belief in the possibility of intelligent non-human life. Rubio told the UFO documentary, The Age of Disclosure, we've had, quote unquote, we've had repeated instances of something operating in airspace over restricted nuclear facilities. It's not ours. So, I mean, she's saying basically that the White House is laying down the groundwork for disclosure. And if that happens, that might have some pretty wild effects on society, which the market is a subset of. The market is society. So the Bank of England, she recommends, should prepare for that. Twisted Clown, thank you for the super chat. I'll take a spaceship for 5 ounces. The Earth is flat. So yeah. All right. So yeah. Are these guys really, are they going to have to whip out the old alien invasion playbook? Try and muster up some or something like, what's going on here? I'm telling you guys, something is off. It's so chaotic. Like, it's different. It's different from any other time in the last 10, 20 years. Because if you think back, like 2022, it was chaotic because we had just seen the start of the Ukraine war and we had no idea where this thing was going. A lot of us thought this was heading into nuclear war, and it still could possibly head that way, but it seemed more imminent back then. Because it was uncharted territory for a lot of us. Before that, we had the sickness, C-19. And I don't need to explain how chaotic that was. But in each of those instances, there was a central theme, right? In 2020, it was all about C-19. In 2022, it was all about Russia, Ukraine. Now it's like, at us from everywhere. It's the silver market. It's Russia, Ukraine still. It's the stuff with Greenland, the trade war, the stuff going on in Iran, stuff going on with Venezuela and South America. Of course, one could argue that there is a central theme in all this. The fourth turning. A lot of things are coming to a head. The resource wars. And now, aliens? Let me know your thoughts about this, guys. I'm curious to see what you have to say. We'll finish. It's a long article. Let me see if I can just speed through it. So this month, the Sunday Times disclosed previously classified state files which showed that the British military sought to obtain extraterrestrial technology after receiving credible intelligence that the UFOs appeared to be real and could outperform any unknown human craft. McCaw, who worked for the bank for 10 years until 2012, insists that the politicians and bankers can no longer afford to dismiss talk of alien life and snicker about little green men. She said, the US government appears to be partway through a multi-year process to declassify and disclose information on the existence of a technologically advanced non-human intelligence responsible for unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAPs. So she's saying the US government is engaging in a multi-year process to kind of declassify this, to kind of finesse this, to disclose this kind of in stages. They're bringing all this info out into the podcasting realm. You know, who was that one Congress lady? Luna, what was her name? Woman Luna. Like she was on Newsmax and News Nation and all these other podcasts talking about UAPs as well, and of course, you know, she's connected to the White House, and so it's very interesting. It's very, very strange stuff. I really don't know what to make of it. So this lady could be right. So if the UAP proves to be of non-human origin, we may have to acknowledge the existence of a power or intelligence greater than any government and with potentially unknown intentions. Now, I had an interesting discussion with my good friend Simon Michaud, about a month or two ago about this stuff. I brought it up to him, and I believe this was in our latest interview. So if you guys can find that, you can watch and check it out for yourself. But he basically postulates that whatever this technology is that classifies itself as UAPs, UFOs, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't really matter the source insofar as the technology. Whether it's from little green men or I don't know, like another species of some sort that lives on this planet that we don't know of, or maybe it's just classified technology that we've just kept under wrap. He makes argument that we should just be intrigued by the notion that it actually exists. And if we are heading into, and he's done the math, like go ahead and watch any of my interviews with Simon Michaud, like he's laid it all out. It is going to take, it's an impossible task to meet all of these targets for our energy needs and material needs and so forth. So he basically theorizes that if they are going to, that they may be forced to a point now where they may have no choice but to unravel this technology. Because the legacy technology that we've been fed for the last 100 years since the start of the industrial age is no longer cutting it. So we may have to whip out the big guns now. And whether that's aliens or whether that's just classified technology that we've kept under wraps. Remember Mark Andreessen said that entire fields of physics we're under, what do you say, classified? Or under, like just classified, top secret classification. So are they about to unravel all of this technology out to the public because they just got to build out these data centers, or they just have to keep the lights on? It's very interesting stuff. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below. Well, I think, I don't know. Do you guys want me to finish up reading this article? We're about halfway through, a little over halfway through, but I think I got the gist of it. Of course, hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you enjoyed this podcast, we might be ending it here shortly. Oh yeah, and there's also the stuff in Minneapolis too. I'm just reading the comments here. There's also stuff in Minneapolis too. It's off the rockers, guys. So I think we'll just end it here. Hit the like and subscribe, guys. Let me know what you thought. We went a little out there today, and let's take one last look at the price of silver. See if there's any fireworks happening. Doesn't look like it. Spot is back down to 93.19. Watch it rally back up as soon as I go offline. So there's that. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you next time. Oh, and another thing, we do have a special 50% off the Substack if you haven't subscribed already. So if you're looking to become a Substack member, get all my interviews early, ad-free, and uncensored, you can take advantage of it now, but the deal expires on the 23rd. So if you're thinking about it and you're feeling froggy, now might be the time to leap. So the deal's going to expire soon, and then we're going to raise our prices. So you can currently get it for $4 right now with the deal. $4 a month or $40 a year. But after the 23rd, we'll be raising it up to $12 a month and $120 a year. So massive savings there if you guys are interested. Link is down below as well. All right, guys, I'll catch you later.